Good evening and welcome to Kini News. It's the start of a new week, and this week brings renewed calls for the government to reconvene the sitting of the Dewan Rakyat.
Umno President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has called on the government to urgently reconvene Parliament. In a statement today, Zahid said that Umno takes a firm stand to pressure the government to respect the young di-Pertuan Agong and the Conference of Rulers decrees, and to call for a Parliament sitting within 14 days from the date of this notice. The statement came following reports of an Umno Political Bureau meeting chaired by Zahid yesterday night. Zahid added that failure to call for a Parliament sitting is viewed as insolence towards the King's decree and disrespect for the Conference of Rulers. He said, as a party founded on grounds to protect and defend the Malay rulers institution, as stated under Article 3 of UMNO's constitution, a special meeting of the Supreme Council will be convened to decide our next move. And also reiterated the party's stand that it was important for Parliament to reconvene so that the plight of those struggling from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic could be raised, as well as to push for accountability in the present Perikatan Nasional Administration. Previously, during a Bicara Haraka program, de facto Law Minister Taqiyuddin Hassan had said that the Agong in his decree did not specify an exact date on when the House should be in session, and that Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin had indicated a September or October deadline. Parliament is set to reconvene during the third phase of the National Recovery Plan.
We've heard many calls to reconvene Parliament, but how many of them have a plan to do so? Well, it looks like our former Prime Minister Najib Razak is the man with a plan today.
Former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak has offered a two-step solution to reopen Parliament. Step 1, send a notice to the Speaker to convene Parliament, and Step 2, sitting is in session, the end. Najib explained this in a Facebook post, adding that the matter was straightforward and there was no need for a study. His post came after Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin announced that a committee will look into the reconvening of Parliament. Yesterday, Muhyiddin said the government will involve the opposition in a committee to study the reconvening of Parliament and also whether it should be done in a hybrid mode. He said the government needed to decide whether the Parliament sitting can be held physically and whether a hybrid version was in line with Parliament's standing orders. He also stressed that he was not trying to deny the rights of elected representatives by going against the young di-Pertuan Agong's views. In response to this, Najib noted the young di-Pertuan Agong and Conference of Rulers had called on the government to convene Parliament as soon as possible, but did not decree for the Prime Minister to set up a committee to study how to convene Parliament. He also pointed out how Parliament had convened when COVID-19 cases were in the thousands and none of the MPs had been vaccinated. As of now, all members of Parliament have completed their second vaccine dose. He added that if Parliament was not safe, then MPs could convene at factories or construction sites that had been allowed to operate during the lockdown.
Being an independent media outlet can be tough. A lot of our stories require time and manpower. We need your help to continue what we're doing, so if you like the content that we produce, do consider a donation by clicking in the link in the description below to find out how you can become a contributor. We appreciate all the support that all of you have given us over the years. And now on to our next story. The alleged statutory declaration drive that's been making its way around the rumour mills was mentioned today by UMNO Sec Gen Ahmad Maslan, though he claims he was not approached.
UMNO Secretary General Ahmad Maslan said that there are efforts to collect statutory declarations, or SD, from MPs on the formation of a new government, but said that he had not been approached to sign anything. In an interview with Malaysia Post last night, he said he had heard of the SDs and did not deny their existence. He said such efforts are indeed being made. However, he and some of his colleagues have not been approached. Previously, PKR has condemned what it claimed were renewed efforts to collect SDs from MPs. PKR Communications Director, Fahmi Fadzil, said those seeking endorsements in the form of SDs were setting themselves up for positions in the government. He added that the desperate act of this group must be wholly rejected by the Rakyat. Fahmi did not name the MPs involved or their political affiliations, but said they do not hold any key leadership positions in their party. Talks of political maneuverings have been picking up with the expectation that Parliament will reconvene soon.
Now let's talk about the COVID numbers, and for a change things are looking a little on the bright side, as today we have recorded the lowest number of daily cases since mid-May. The Health Ministry reported 4,611 new COVID-19 cases today, which is the lowest number of new cases recorded since the middle of May. Selangor recorded the highest number of new cases with 1,346 and Sarawak with 682. This was followed by Perak, which reported 453 cases, and Negeri Sembilan with 437. The cumulative number of COVID-19 cases in the country is now at 701,019. Meanwhile, the National COVID-19 Immunization Program or NIP Coordinating Minister Khairi Jamaluddin announced today that Malaysia is estimated to fully vaccinate 10% of its population by mid-July. He said the government's focus is on reaching a high vaccination rate and they are working to get there. He said that the vaccination rate depends on supply and Malaysia's vaccination rate should not be compared to countries in Europe that are hoarding them. He also said that Malaysia is ahead of our neighbors such as Indonesia, the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, and was close to Japan's rate. He said this in reply to a question about a report that the country's vaccination rate appeared slower to countries such as Hungary.
Adakah utusan Malaysia sedar bahawa Hungary adalah sebahagian daripada Kesatuan Eropah? Dan Kesatuan Eropah telah merunding dengan pembekal vaksin secara pukal dengan kuasa pembeli Kesatuan Eropah. Dan juga antara kilang-kilang yang mengeluarkan vaksin berada di Eropah. Jadi mereka telah membolot vaksin dengan lebih awal lagi. Sedangkan negara-negara di Asia, termasuklah negara Jepun, negara yang sudah maju, sangat keterbelakang berbanding dengan negara-negara Eropah, negara Amerika Syarikat, negara United Kingdom, negara Canada dan sebagainya.
Shellfish, red meat, and beer. If you love indulging in these foods, you may end up with high uric acid level in your blood. These foods consist high level of purine, a substance that will eventually break down into uric acid and be excreted through our urine. It is recommended that the amount of dietary purines should be kept between 600 to 1,000 milligrams per day. Having too much uric acid in your blood can cause attacks of gout. It can also cause kidney stones and blockage in the kidney. The crystallization of the excessive uric acid in your blood can be eased by reducing purine-rich food to only 100 to 150 milligrams daily, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and consuming urinary alkalinizer like Ural. It consists of sodium bicarbonate, citric acid, and sodium citrate that increases the urinary pH and solubility of uric acid to prevent crystallization. Best of all, it's lemon-flavored and sugar-free. Ural, effective urinary alkalinizer. Neutralize your uric acid problem now.
Speaking of vaccines, if you haven't registered to get your COVID-19 jab yet, our next story could give you the motivation to register right now.
The government is looking into easing restrictions for individuals who have completed their COVID-19 vaccinations. This is according to National COVID-19 Immunization Program Coordinating Minister Khairi Jamaluddin. In a press conference on the National Recovery Plan in Putrajaya yesterday, Khairi said that a technical committee is reviewing the matter. The committee comprises of health and science experts set up under the COVID-19 Vaccine Supply Access Guarantee, or JKJAV. He said they will look at data obtained from other countries and study the matter from a clinical aspect to determine the freedom that can be guaranteed to those who have been fully vaccinated. Individuals that have completed the vaccination regime will also get a yellow profile on their MySejahtera application. According to Khairi, this will act as a vaccine passport that will allow them a certain degree of freedom to do things that were previously not permitted. However, he reiterated that Malaysians must continue to adhere to the standard operating procedures set to contain the COVID-19 outbreak, even if they have been fully vaccinated. He said, for now, vaccination is not a substitute for the enforcement of SOPs, especially in areas that are allowed to operate during the movement control order. He stressed that existing SOP, such as physical distancing, wearing face masks, and others must continue to be emphasized and enforced.
That's a wrap from us today. For more stories, you can go to kinitv.com. Don't forget you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook to get the latest headlines as well. If you would like to support the independent media, do consider a subscription to malaysiakini.com. If you're heading out, don't forget your mask, and when you can, do try to stay home. I'm Daniel Anthony. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay safe, Malaysia.